Hello, everybody. We're back on for the next week's show here, and this is superific. And as you know, the name of our show is Walking Down the. No, wait a minute. It's Flying. No, what
Flying
is that?
high, flying high.
Oh, he knows the name of my show. Right? It's Flying High. You know, he thinks he's bashful, but he's really not. However, when I told him that he's got to do a few dance steps for us, he said, "Wait a minute, you didn't say about that."
You didn't mention that.
Yeah, and he ran like crazy. I said, "Wait a minute, come back." Well, that's okay. I'm kidding you. So we'll forget about you doing your dance steps, okay?
Good enough.
We'll just get into some real good stuff, because I'm really looking forward to meeting with you and talking and letting people know, all about the American Legion. In my own heart, you talk about emotions, how you feel. I feel the same in my heart, probably for a different reason than you, but nonetheless, I can feel those emotions that crop up in me about the American Legion and when I served and so forth. And today I want to get down to the stuff of what you felt, what you went through, and what your feelings are regarding the American Legion. And exactly, too, what kind of things are we doing now, that have meaning for people? What is going on? So, first of all, let me introduce you to yourself, your name, and so forth.
My name is Ed Castillo. I am the commander of American Legion Post 68 in Hayward, Hayward, California. I am a Vietnam veteran, early 60s before I really got started, 61 to 63. Before it really became overpopulated over there, sending so many troops over there.
Yeah.
But I'm here today because we're in the process of celebrating our 100th anniversary.
Wonderful.
Our American Legion Post 68 was chartered in 1919 in Hayward in September. So this September coming up is September the 28th. We're having our 100th anniversary, and we're in the process of putting together a parade and a big veteran get-together in Hayward,
Let's get into
California.
that more in a little bit. I want to know a little bit. Yeah, that's great. That's what we need to do, and we have the posters we'll show you and so forth. But tell us more about yourself. You were in the service and so forth, and where did you serve?
Yeah, like I said, I'm a Vietnam veteran. I'm an Army, infantry Army. My whole family was infantry Army. Back in the day, where every family had members in the military.
Wow.
My father, grandfather, brothers, uncles, everybody served. Nowadays, it seems you have to pull kids into. That's when we had the draft, so it made it easier to go in and you were welcome, and serving was an honor. It was an honor to serve. Nowadays, everything's changed. The climate's changed. When I came back from Vietnam, I never thought that I would hear people say, "Thank you for your service." Never. When I came home from Vietnam. We came home to San Francisco, landed there, me and about 6 or 8 other members from the area. And we came in at 3 o'clock in the morning because they didn't want us to be seen, apparently. I didn't know it at the time, but later on.
Yeah.
But there was no one there.
You felt bad about that?
Well, I was happy to get home. I just wanted to get.
That's the main thing for you at that
Yeah,
moment,
I wanted to stay alive, get home, go back to college, and finish up, and that kind of thing. But when I came home, there was nobody there. There was no mayor, no dignitaries, no balloons, no parade, nothing. My 2 brothers, Korean veterans, came and picked me up, and family from the other members came and picked them up. But that was it. 3 o'clock in the morning. Then on the plane over, they wanted us to change over from our military clothes into civilian clothes, and we just said no. We can't do that.
Really? Huh?
Yeah, we just said them.
Why did they want you to do that? Well,
I don't know. At the time, they just didn't want us to be seen as military coming home.
Yeah.
So then we told the airplane stewardess that we couldn't do that. That either drop us off where you found us or or drop us off here.
Yeah.
But we weren't going to change. So we came out and it was nobody there. There was nobody there. So it
Well,
was.
tell me again, and I asked you this before, but nobody there. And you said with emotion, nobody there. You felt bad, or nobody there. So what? What was your feeling there?
Well, my feeling was, like I said, I just wanted to get home. I was anxious to get home.
So you didn't worry about whether they.
I didn't care about parades or any of that
Yeah.
thing. I don't think any of us did. But just years later, I thought about it. Well, there was nobody there for us. Now, we have parades down in Washington D.C. all over the country for which is fine. Which is fine. The soldiers, they need that. It was just different times.
Yeah.
There was nobody there for us. But now. I do things for the Legion, membership recruiting, and I'm out in front of stores, shopping centers, that kind of thing. And I have people come up to me and tell me, thank you for your service.
Yeah.
And at the first time I heard it, I was taken back because
Well, let me interrupt you here because, I go to these meetings that we have on Tuesday nights, and you're out there the leader of the whole bunch there, and you're kind of quiet and easygoing, but you get to the point to stuff. And I feel that you enjoy what you're doing, You think, this is an important thing I do, You're talking about your military service and what others did and so forth, And that's fantastic as far as I'm concerned, And that's why I like to keep going to these meetings because it's meaningful to you, it's meaningful to others, meaningful to me too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I came home, I had no plans on joining I always wanted to join the American Legion, but at that time I was married and raising a family and going back to school, that kind of thing. And I had no intentions at the time. I just wasn't ready. I was working.
Ready to get out,
Yeah, but then when the war started in Afghanistan and all those other conflicts that we were having, I told myself I have to get involved because I don't want the young men coming home now to come home the way I did.
I see.
So I joined up maybe 20 years or 25 years ago, and I've been doing it ever since. I love it. I really enjoy it. And as commander, I was commander of our American Legion district, and I went and visited other posts in our district. We have 13 other posts, and some of those have the same feelings that I had. So now we meet veterans coming home at the airport, pick them up, give them an escort home or wherever they're at, and take them out to lunch and dinner and stay in touch with them and make them feel, because it's hard on you. It's hard.
Well, like I mentioned, when I go into these meetings, I get a lot of it because of these things. People talk about what they went through, and we have maybe 20 people that show up at the meetings and so forth. And each one will talk about what they did and said and so forth. And it's really great to hear right from the source, not just, these people here did this and that and so forth. But we're right there with the source. And one guy, too, can't mention his name, but in a wheelchair, we helped him get fed and so forth. And somebody noted that, his cushion's a little screwed up. And she, who was a member there, said, let's get something for him. So right there, it's just like your heart poured out, and the guy gets something different, and he's happy about that.
Yeah, I met this Kenny is his name.
That's okay, no name.
And I met him, and he was going through some things, changes, in his life, and we just got together about a month ago. And he's going to be coming to our meetings on a regular basis.
Great.
Yeah, he enjoys.
He's suffering from multiple sclerosis, right?
Yeah. I never asked him about his personal his illness or something like that, but I just know he's in a wheelchair, so I just gravitated to him, and
Wonderful.
He's a very nice man. I see him all the time now.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah. Well, it's things like this, especially where somebody is in need there, And in a sense, you're saying, we're all in need too, in a sense, because now you think about when you came and nobody was there to greet you, you think, wait a minute, that's not right, and I'd like to be there, and you do that now, get the greeting.
Yeah, well, the Legion itself, the American Legion, was formed on the basis of veterans helping veterans. Okay, 1919, when the veterans came home from the First World War, the veterans that came home before them realized that there was veterans without any opportunity, no jobs, no
Yeah.
education, their health was non-existent. So that's how we got started. Our mission in the American Legion is veterans helping veterans, and everything we do is gauged to a veteran's needs, and having him do well.
Yeah, and when you say veterans helping veterans, I think veterans help others to help other veterans.
Yeah,
too,
we're a community-oriented organization.
Yeah.
We're a nonprofit, and so we're out looking for veterans all the time and looking to see what we can do for them. When we started, like in 1919, from 1919 to almost 1934, when the GI Bill was signed, that's what we were working for all that time. We were trying to get the GI Bill for veterans, the VA system for veterans, to help veterans, and that's how to this day, this minute. That's,
Tell me, what kind of things are veterans able to do through this organization? What kind of services are they given?
God, we have so many services. The VA itself has health, where once you get into the system, everything is afforded to you. You know, sometimes there are some veterans that go through the cracks, and it's our job to make sure that doesn't happen. It's our job to make sure that they get whatever they need.
Because sometimes they don't know what's available.
They don't know what's available. A lot of them don't understand that the American Legion is there for them. You know, and that's why I'm out there looking for veterans. And every time I see one or I see someone that I think is a veteran, I ask them, "Are you a veteran?" And they'll say, "Yeah." So, well, you should be one of us.
Yeah.
You should be one of us because we're looking for you. We want to help you.
Yeah,
What do you need? You know, that's how we operate. Veterans helping veterans.
You know, one of the things that I found too there, because I love to help. I set it up so I have wheelchairs. I have 550 wheelchairs went to Mexico, 550 into Australia. I'm looking to help Cuba in that respect, Afghanistan in that respect, for wheelchairs. And I actually have told some of the veterans there that, you know, you need a wheelchair, I'll get one for you, without having for them to pay. So this is one of the kind of services that come out through, and I am able to make that contact, which is great, you know.
Yeah. Since you mentioned that at our meeting a couple of meetings ago, whenever I see someone a veteran that I see on a walker or that kind of walking with cane or walker or whatever, I'm asking them now, I said, do you need a wheelchair? I said, we can get you a wheelchair. And they said, no, the VA, I can get a wheelchair to the VA.
Yeah.
I said, okay, well, if you need a wheelchair, let me know. We have them available for you. And we're going to be pushing that as we go along.
Great,
yeah.
I know when I brought, the one guy had said, yeah, I need one, you know, my father-in-law and so forth is crippled and can't afford it and so forth, and they're not helping him out. So I brought one to the meeting the last time, then I asked him, he says, well, luckily, he says, we got one through the welfare setup of some kind. So anyway, I still have a wheelchair, 2 or 3 that I can use, you know, to give to the people that may need it.
Yeah, when we'll be pushing into that. We'll be looking into that later on.
Okay.
More as we go along.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate that from you. We really do.
Well, I'm so happy to be able to do that too, you know. And through the service, you know, hearing aids are one big thing too that they can help. And I told a few of those about it, and they were surprised, you know, yeah, you can get set up with that.
Yeah, we had a member a couple of years back that I transported to Livermore, to the Livermore lab up there, where the VA has a hearing.
Right.
We're all over it, Livermore, Fort Miley, and San Francisco, Martinez. They have hearing aid clinics there.
Contra Costa,
Yeah, and yeah, they're good. They go in there. I waited for them when I took them in there, and they take very good care of them. They gave them hearing aids, and they're free of charge.
Yeah.
Hearing aids are very expensive.
Yeah,
You know,
$200 to $2,000.
Most of our veterans like that are on a budget. You know. So it really helps when they can get something for nothing. You know? It's nothing, not nothing. They earned it.
Yeah,
but
it's not for nothing.
yeah,
Right.
they earned it. They paid the price.
Yeah.
So it's great. It's really great.
That's fantastic, yeah. Now, let's get back to you a little bit more. You know, you say you have a family and so forth, and tell us how many children you got and what.
I have one son.
One son? Oh.
Yeah, I have one son. My wife and I we're retired, and just the two of us now because he's living in Oregon, and I got 3 grandkids. They're darling, you know, at that age, just like he was when he was younger. And then he grows up, and then they go their own way, you know.
Yeah.
They don't need you after a while. No, but it's he lives in Oregon, and that's it. You know, with just one child, and that's.
Let me get to something too that might get you emotional for you, but you know your experiences when you're in the service. You know, you mentioned before you kind of feel sad about that, but can you tell us a little bit about that? You know, why does it cause that emotion in you? What's going on with you, my friend?
I don't really know. I just I guess I just hate to see suffering like that. You know, a lot of death. You're involved in it as a military man. You see it firsthand, and I'm originally from Alameda. I was born in Texas, but my dad was stationed in Texas at the time. My mother was pregnant with me, and we went to Texas to visit my dad, and that's where I was born. But we were living in Alameda. We lived in Alameda all our lives, and it's just going from Alameda or Hayward or Oakland area, San Francisco area to Vietnam is just an eye opener. Yeah, it's a big change. The humidity's terrible. The monsoon rains are terrible. It just awakens you. You know, you think, boy, this is the other side of the world. You know, but as a military guy, you get used to it. You get used to it. That's your duty, your job. You're doing your job. And it just a lot of suffering, you know, when you see people getting killed and burnt. And
you had a lot of friends there in there that.
Well, I tried. I basically tried to keep a distance.
Did you? Oh.
Yeah, you know, I knew a lot of them. I still do, but I try to keep a distance because you see them one day and then the next day they're gone.
Wow.
You know, something happens, they're killed in action or whatever, you know, and they rotate home or whatever. And so I try not to personally get involved, you know, in that aspect, aside from having their back when we're out in the field or we're out doing something, you know, we'd cover our backs. But other than that, the personal problems, the personal life, that I tried not to get involved. But it's hard because you're with these guys all the time. Every day you sleep, same bunk, same barracks, that kind of thing, you know. You're sleeping on the dirt and grass and whatever, and you're both in the same, you know.
And is that what brings that emotion in you? Because you remember, oh, John or Bill or Wayne or whomever it was that you knew, and all of a sudden
they're gone.
Oh God, he's gone. And
they're gone. Or you see casualties. You see a lot of wounds, a lot of you know. Bullet wounds, and just war is not. It's not a John Wayne movie. You know, no, it's not a John Wayne movie. It's real life, and it's a lot of suffering.
Yeah.
And their families at home are suffering. You know, the war is just tough all over. It really is.
Yeah.
You know.
And you know, one of the things I'm working on, and I talk about this before too, is this kind of world peace. And I brought that up in our meetings that we had before. And to me, world peace means getting to know each other in a different way, you know, where you look towards peace in your heart and talking with people. And we have so many crazy things going on now, you know, guys shooting here, shooting there. Afghanistan, we had a guy reporting where he said 160 got killed. I only thought it was 66. But he said Afghans shot by somebody who's just shooting with a rifle.
Yeah.
So you have these crazy people. I call them crazy because something is wrong in the old bean, you know.
Yeah. It's there's so many conflicts out there that at any minute something could pop up.
Yeah.
You know, we're back in war. Iran has given us a problem. Afghanistan is still a problem. We have a problem right in our own backyards. People killing our own people. It's just a never-ending thing. It's just,
Yeah, and we keep working at it. Like this thing I told you about world peace that I had brought up to you before. You know, world peace starts not out here. It starts
start
here
from within. Yeah.
and here,
Yeah.
and it just spreads from there.
Yeah.
You can't just say, "Oh, he's a bad guy. Forget him." You know, he's doing this and that and bad things. But what's going on? What's with that person?
Yeah, we're gonna as our meetings. We only meet once a month,
Right.
so it's kind of hard to put everything,
Yeah, I hear
get
you.
everything together. But as we go along, we're going to be working more on your wheelchairs and this world peace you
Mm-hmm.
have, and it's going to take us a little while. But hopefully, as we go along, our meetings will expand into that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we can. It does. It all comes from the heart.
Yeah.
You gotta really want to be friends with someone. You know, really put yourself out there for them.
Yeah, yeah. And this thing that I brought up to it at our meeting, I mentioned to you with world peace, and I had a saying, you know, like we salute our flag, we salute a Boy Scout flag, we salute a Rotary flag, another club flag. We have these things that we do, you know. And I brought up something where if we had a world flag, and this is, I'm going to go repeat this there. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the world and to all of the lands that it represents. One world, indivisible, with liberty, justice, freedom, and love for all. And that would not be to replace any kind of pledge, you know, that we have,
Yeah.
but just something else to add to it.
Yeah, that's right. Like I said, as we'll go on with our meetings, we're going to be bringing that into our
Wonderful, yeah.
our agenda as we go along.
Yeah, yeah.
We do need. There's so many terrible things going on out there. You know that we really have to.
Yeah.
We really have to stand back and say, well, we got to put a stop to all this nonsense
Pay
going on.
attention
You
to it,
know,
yeah.
and help our friends there.
Yeah, and I have a couple of posters that thankfully you brought up. Maybe you can show this to the people up in front there.
This is our poster for our centennial.
Yeah, let's see if we can put it out here like this. Poster for Centennial. Now everybody see that.
Yeah.
And the date is, tell us what the date is and so forth.
Yeah, this is our poster for our centennial. Our centennial is September 28th, a Saturday, in Hayward, California, on B Street. We are going to be having a parade from City Hall on B Street all the way up to Foothill Boulevard, and we're going to be having bands and military marching and that sort of thing. It's going to be a veterans. Every veteran in town or out of town is more than welcome to come and join us. But this is our 100th anniversary, so we have to do what we have to do here.
Yeah, and you'll notice here it's from 1919 to 2019, 100 years. I think the Boy Scouts have a 110-year anniversary in there.
Yeah,
mentioned that
we're getting together with the Boy Scouts to help us on this on our centennial. When we got started in 1919, our first group that we joined up with and helped were the Boy Scouts, and the Boy Scouts at the time were already 10 years old. They had started. Yeah, they had started in
110th anniversary now.
Yeah, 110. So they were already 10 years old. So it just made sense for us to this day.
Yeah.
We still, they're one of our top programs.
You know, one other thing, I know you kind of hesitate a little bit, but we talk about, you know, being in service and the meaning and so forth. And one of the things you made friends, but you kind of hated to in a sense because you didn't know what was going to happen to them. But tell us some of the events that happened that kind of made you feel, wow, that really hurt you. What was it that happened in there?
Well, we had when you first get in there, when you're first in the military, you do try to make friendships and get to know people and get to know other soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
I was fortunate enough. I was in California, and I got together with most of the kids from that time. We were all kids from New York City, from the East Coast, North
Mm-hmm.
Carolina, South Carolina, all from back there, and that's how I got to know the other side of the world for us. I had never traveled out of California except for Texas and that kind of thing. But being with these kids, you learn their background, their habits and lifestyles and that, and it makes it a lot easier. And then you get to know them, and then you move out to Vietnam with them, and you see some of them get hurt. You get to know them, and all of a sudden you ask about them one day, and they're not there anymore. And that, and then you wonder, oh my God, that's terrible. Yeah. And it just tears you up inside because you want to have friends. You want to have friends all the time, forever. And even the ones that survived, we still stay in touch. A lot of them from New York City. Yeah. Now I go back there every now and then and get together with them. Yeah. But
so you do get together with them sometimes, even now.
Even now we stay in touch with ones that we've lost a lot of them naturally, but we stay in touch. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like I said, war is hard. It's really, really hard. It's not a John Wayne movie, and everybody comes out ahead and this and that, but it just.
For real stuff, yeah.
You see one guy and you love him, and you get to know his family, or you talk about his family, his girlfriends and his wife, children, whatever, and then next day they're gone, and just breaks your heart, that we're out there trying to save the world. We're all over the world, Right. We've been in Afghanistan now going on 20 years.
Right on, yeah. Well, we only have about a minute left here, but I want to make sure that everybody who knows your name is
Eddie Castillo.
Eduardo Castillo, yeah, a service. Yeah. And I love it. And no, I'm not going to make it do a dance for us, so you don't have to run scared.
No, I'll be happy to. No,
I love it.
I like I say, I'm the commander of American Legion Post, 68 in Hayward. We're 100 years old. I love it. It's all I ever wanted to do. Yeah. My meetings are all. I let everybody have their own say. Everybody gets to say what they want.
So much meaning in your life that this is brought back, and you get to say, as you're the man in charge of this, yes, sir.
Yeah.
But you're not the one that says you got to say, sir. It's like.
We're all members. We don't have any rank among us. We all serve as one. Our main mission is helping other veterans. Like I said, veterans helping veterans. That's our mission. Yeah, that's our mission.
And as we finish here right now, your post here with American Legion in Hayward is fantastic, and you're one of the men of the hour that's helping to make it go, go, go. And there are others in there too that are quite active. But I want to say thank you very much for being with us, and you can put it there, pal.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you.
And no dancing. No dancing. You
No
can't
dancing.
Dance. So thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week. And this is Mariano Sanchez saying so long from Flying High.